They said it would take 3 weeks. It took 9. They said I could apply online, but the site crashed halfway through. They said it was just a passport, but it cost me everything. My name is Riley Tran, and this is the story of how the Australian passport system chewed me up, spat me out, and made me its villain. I followed every rule. I clicked every link. I waited, and I waited, until the day I realized I wasn't just another applicant. I was the start of a storm. This is not just a story. It's a warning. Chapter 1. The Dream. I had worked 10 years for this moment. 1 decade of late nights, rejection letters, rewrites, and readings at tiny cafes with broken microphones and chairs older than Federation. And then the email came. Dear Riley, we're thrilled to invite you as a featured speaker at the Global Voices Literary Summit in Toronto. Travel, accommodation, and visa support will be provided. Please confirm your availability and submit a valid passport by the 10th of March. I stared at the screen, blinking. A chance to speak in front of thousands, the same stage as authors I grew up idolizing. It was everything. But there was a problem. My passport had expired 5 months ago. No worries, I thought. I've got time. Australia's passport system is world class, right? Right? I went online and opened the new digital portal the government had been bragging about in the media. Sleek interface, bold fonts, big green button that said, "Apply now." I clicked. That was the moment my dream began to rot. The application was long, but manageable, until the payment page. $412 for a passport? I swallowed hard. That was more than half my rent. Still, I paid. I was investing in myself, investing in the moment I'd been working towards my entire life. I triple-checked my documents, uploaded the right headshot, and submitted. A confirmation message flashed. Thank you for your application. Processing time up to 3 weeks. I sat back in my chair, smiled, and took a breath of relief. The dream was happening. Little did I know, that countdown was a lie. Chapter 2. The Digital Maze. Week 1 passed. I checked my email every morning, hoping for a status update. Nothing. I logged into the application portal. Your application is being assessed. That was it. No estimated delivery date, no contact person, just a spinning wheel of uncertainty. On day 11, I got nervous. The deadline to submit my passport to the summit organizers was fast approaching. I called the helpline. After 27 minutes on hold, listening to smooth jazz and a robotic voice saying, "We appreciate your patience," a real human finally answered. Yeah, looks like it's still in the system," the agent said flatly. "Nothing wrong with it, just wait it out." "But I have a travel deadline," I said, trying to stay calm. "Is there any way to prioritize it?" "Not unless you're traveling within the next 48 hours, she replied. "And even then, we need proof it's an emergency." An emergency. Apparently, a life-changing opportunity didn't qualify. That night, I tried to log in again. This time, the portal wouldn't even load. A white screen with an error code stared back at me. 504, Gateway Timeout. I refreshed and refreshed. I tried on my phone. I switched browsers. I even reset my modem like some desperate act of digital witchcraft. Nothing. The next morning, I visited the local post office just to ask if they could see anything on their system. The woman behind the counter smiled sympathetically. Sorry, love, we don't have access anymore. It's all centralized now. Everything goes through the new system. Centralized, streamlined, automated. Fancy words for nobody is responsible for anything. By week 3, my anxiety had turned into anger. I'd paid the most expensive passport fee in the world for what felt like a lottery ticket. The phone lines were jammed, the website was broken, the system was silent. And then I received a status update. Your passport has been printed and will be dispatched shortly. Relief flooded me, but I didn't know that word, shortly, would soon become a cruel joke. Chapter 3: Denied by Design. 5 days passed after I received the dispatch notice. No delivery, no tracking update, no passport. I called Australia Post. They said they had no record of the tracking number. I called the passport office. After 40 minutes on hold, someone finally picked up and said, "Oh, it might still be sitting in the batch pile. Sometimes that happens." The batch pile? I was 2 days from my submission deadline. My invitation to the summit was hanging by a thread. The next morning, a padded envelope appeared in my mailbox. My heart nearly leapt out of my chest. I tore it open with shaking hands. And then I froze. The name on the passport wasn't mine. It read Riley Tran Smith. Smith? Where did they even get that? The birth date was correct, the photo was mine, but the name? Completely wrong. I called the DFAT hotline again. "Oh dear," the agent said with a yawn in his voice. "That happens sometimes." "That happens?" I snapped. "You sent me someone else's name on an official government document." "Well, we can correct it," he said. "Just fill out a passport amendment form, submit proof of identity again, and pay the reissue fee." Pay the reissue fee? My voice cracked. "Yes," he replied, "mistakes aren't covered unless we determine it was a system error." I felt like I was losing my grip on reality. I had followed every instruction, uploaded every document, paid over $400, and now they wanted more? I begged for an expedited correction. "Please, I have to travel. This is important." "Unless it's a medical emergency or bereavement," he said blandly, "we can't prioritize your request." I stared at the useless passport in my hand. Pages perfectly blank. No stamps, no future. I emailed the summit organizer that night. The reply came swiftly. "We understand, but we must move forward with a replacement speaker. We hope to work with you in the future." I didn't cry. I didn't scream. I just sat in silence, staring at the passport that bore my face, but not my name. I realized this wasn't just a clerical error. This system was designed to fail people like me, quiet, compliant, invisible. But I wasn't going to stay invisible anymore. Chapter 4: Spiraling Down. I stopped answering calls. I didn't open emails. I avoided mirrors because all I saw in them was failure. I kept that passport in a drawer, face down, spine torn slightly from how roughly I'd opened it. Even the cover felt flimsy. It didn't feel like $100 document. It felt like cheap plastic dipped in broken promises. Over the next few weeks, I did what every furious Australian does when something's gone wrong. I took to the internet. Reddit, Facebook groups, Twitter threads. I searched for anything related to the R-Series passport. And what I found made my stomach turn. Stories like mine. Hundreds, thousands. People who'd had their passports delayed for months. Passports arriving with warped pages, scratched data chips, or misaligned covers. Some denied boarding because their documents were falling apart. Some missed funerals, weddings, careers, all because the system moved like molasses. One woman posted a photo of her brand new passport literally peeling at the spine. A man said the UV thread didn't scan properly at border control in Singapore. A teenager wrote, "My school trip was canceled. I cried all night. They don't care about us." Each post added fuel to a fire I didn't know I'd been building. And then I saw it. A podcast episode buried deep in a government tech newsletter. The guest? The CEO of the startup that developed the new passport system. Laughing, yes, laughing, he said, "We came in under budget, didn't even need all the money they gave us, just tweaked the old code and slapped a fresh look on it." I listened again and again. Slapped a fresh look on it. That was their version of innovation? I'd lost a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity because someone wanted to save a few cents on glue and graphics. I didn't spiral after that. I sharpened. I began collecting every post, screenshotting every complaint, downloading every photo of torn pages, denied entries, and fake apologies. I wasn't going to get my time back, but someone was going to pay. Chapter 5: The Breaking Point. The moment I hit send on my final complaint email to DFAT, I already knew what the reply would be. A canned response, something about our commitment to service and we regret the inconvenience. That's when I snapped. I wasn't angry anymore. I was strategic. I went back into every thread I'd bookmarked. I built a spreadsheet, dates, names, issues, photos, screenshots, even postcodes. Then I searched ASIC records and found the company behind the passport system rollout. A tech startup, less than 5 years old. Their biggest client? The Australian government. I traced the directors. One of them used to be a mid-level MP from Canberra, now listed as Strategic Development Officer. Of course. Friends helping friends, while the rest of us missed weddings, graduations, and job interviews because their system couldn't even spell our names right. But it wasn't just political, it was structural, designed to frustrate, engineered to delay. The more I dug, the more I found. Internal memos leaked by a whistleblower, emails discussing how to streamline public queries by using AI-generated replies, recommendations to increase fee ceilings incrementally to meet budget forecasts. This wasn't just incompetence, it was exploitation masked by bureaucracy. I created a burner account, called it The Ghost of Riley. And then I wrote my post, a long, brutal, emotionally charged breakdown of everything they had done to me and to every other Australian whose passport became a prison instead of a pass. I added pictures, quotes, links to every broken story. I called it Stamped in Vengeance, a system built to fail us. I posted it across every platform, Reddit, TikTok, Twitter, even LinkedIn, because if the government wouldn't pay attention, maybe the job recruiters would. Then I waited. The post went viral in under 24 hours. I wasn't alone anymore. Chapter 6: Building the Fire. At first, I thought it would be a few likes, maybe a handful of shares. But by the end of the day, it was trending. News.com picked it up, then The Guardian, then 7 News ran a late-night segment titled #PassportPain, Are Australians Being Failed? I watched it from my couch, lights off, mouth half open. I was no longer Riley Tran, forgotten applicant number A9274. I was the voice, the spark. Within 72 hours, I had over 300 DMs, people thanking me, people begging me to keep going. I created a private group called The Grounded. It filled up in minutes. Aussies from every state, young, old, FIFO workers, international students, even someone in detention at a foreign airport. They shared their photos, receipts, correspondence. It was damning. A woman had applied for her passport 5 months ago, still waiting. A soldier on leave from deployment had to cancel his reunion because of delays. One story made me choke up. A boy, 9 years old, had drawn pictures of the Eiffel Tower for his dying grandmother. She passed away before he ever boarded a plane. This was bigger than me now. So I built a proper website, www.passportpain.com. I uploaded every story, every photo, every receipt and redacted email chain. I put out an open letter to DFAT, the Prime Minister's office, the opposition, and the media. I wrote, "You can delay one passport, you can silence one voice, but you can't bury 1,000 broken lives." It was everywhere within hours. An investigative journalist from ABC messaged me, asking for an interview. I said yes. The next night, I sat in front of a soft-lit camera and told Australia everything. I didn't hold back. I named names. I called out the XMP on the board. I exposed the data, the numbers, the lies. I said what no one wanted to admit. We're not just facing a passport backlog. We're living under systemic negligence, masquerading as innovation. The interview aired, and everything changed. Chapter 7. When the System Burns. The morning after the interview aired, my inbox exploded. Journalists, whistleblowers, even a former passport office staffer who said we were told to delete tickets if they passed the 10-week mark. That quote alone got picked up by Parliament. Parliament. Me, Riley Tran, caused a debate in Canberra. They called it the passport scandal. Senators demanded an inquiry. ABC ran a timeline with my posts as reference points. Someone even made merch, T-shirts with my burner handle, The Ghost of Riley. But the moment that told me I'd won, when the Prime Minister stood at that podium and said, "We acknowledge the failures in our passport delivery process. And more importantly, we apologize to those affected." It wasn't enough, but it was something. Within a week, they fired the tech firm, opened up compensation cases, even suspended several senior officials pending investigation. And the kicker? They overhauled the application system, added a real-time tracker, boosted staff, cut processing times in half. The headlines called it a citizen-led revolution. I called it justice. But revenge? Revenge is quieter than justice, more patient, and much more personal. I anonymously mailed the board members copies of the boys' Eiffel Tower drawing, one by one. On the back, I wrote, "Delayed dreams don't die quietly." Then I deleted the account, burned every trace, disappeared back into the quiet. No passport, no boarding pass, but I traveled further than anyone thought possible. Because sometimes you don't need to leave the country to make the whole system shake. Epilogue: The Ghost in the System. It's funny, isn't it? How a piece of plastic and paper, a passport, can hold so much power over someone's life. Borders, flights, memories, missed chances, all because a department forgot we were human. I walk past the passport office now and again. They fixed the windows, painted the walls. There's a new kiosk with smiling staff. But some things can't be undone. The summit came and went. Writers flew in from all over the world. I watched the live stream from my living room, wearing the blazer I'd bought for my keynote speech. I never got invited again. The opportunity passed. The moment was gone. They'll never know that it was that rejection that fueled the fire. That silence, that missed flight, became the matchstick. So when you next hold your passport, run your fingers across the gold crest, flip through the pages, and ask yourself, who paid the price so you could leave? My name is Riley Tran, and I was never trying to escape the country. I was trying to wake it up. And now I am the ghost in the system, watching, waiting, listening.